The year is 2026. If you asked anyone how the world might end, they'd probably guess an asteroid, climate disaster, or nuclear war. Instead, the final chapter of human history begins quietly, with a single negative test. For the first 30 days, nobody panics. Doctors blame environmental stress or a bizarre temporary anomaly. Online, people tell each other to relax, treating it as a weird biological glitch that will resolve itself in a few weeks. People who spent their entire adult lives avoiding kids are suddenly sweating, reevaluating their life choices. Meanwhile, those actively trying for a family find themselves in an existential crisis with no medical solution. But the glitch doesn't fix itself. Every hospital worldwide confirms this same reality. Pregnancies have simply stopped. Without a single warning sign, we have unknowingly entered our last generation. This chart shows global population growth. At the end of year 1, the line violently plummets, hitting a hard zero. A year with exactly 0 births. As that metric holds steady, the economy craters. Diaper and stroller megacorporations declare bankruptcy overnight. The child-centric market evaporates. The microcultural fallout is bizarre to watch. Parenting influencers, people whose careers rely entirely on toddler milestones, find themselves desperately pivoting to lifestyle vlogs now that their core demographic no longer exists. Human society operates as an ecosystem designed around continuous new life. When you extract the promise of a next generation, our current economic and cultural structures undergo immediate necrosis. Fast forward 5 to 10 years, a physical quiet settles over communities. Cartoon networks cease broadcasting, and neighborhood parks slowly rust away. Celebrity culture gets remarkably weird. The last child born, now a preteen, effectively becomes the most famous human alive. Paparazzi stalk the last middle schooler on Earth, documenting every mundane milestone of the world's final childhood. To cope, human nurturing instincts redirect themselves. The pet industry explodes in value as millions of people elevate dogs and cats into the role of surrogate children, throwing lavish birthday parties and building inheritance trusts. Others turn to silicone. Proxy families become common, with adults forming deep, emotionally dependent bonds with AI companions, programmed to mimic the feeling of raising a child. Our need to nurture doesn't disappear just because the children do. Deprived of a biological outlet, that energy mutates into artificial attachments to survive the psychological void. 30 years in, the demographic reality sets in. This age pyramid shows a massive, top-heavy bulge of senior citizens, completely unsupported by empty tiers at the bottom. To survive without new labor, governments desperately deploy robotics across every sector to manage basic services. Urban infrastructure undergoes massive retrofitting. Abandoned elementary schools are gutted and converted into sprawling office spaces or elder care facilities. There is a practical silver lining for the aging public. Restaurants, movie theaters, and long-haul flights become perfectly peaceful. You never have to worry about a crying baby or a toddler running through the aisles ever again. While the physical world adapts to the silence, the absence of youth erodes the concept of the long-term future. It is difficult to justify a 100-year infrastructure project when the math says the human workforce will be gone halfway through its lifespan. By the 50-year mark, the youngest person walking the planet is over 40 years old. Without rebellious teenagers or young adults to disrupt social norms, culture stagnates. Music, fashion, and art freeze into a single era. There are no new trends to chase. Instead, a deep emotional longing replaces the initial panic. The aging population struggles to recall basic sensory details of human history. Most realize they have forgotten what a baby's laugh actually sounds like. Human culture acts as a living organism, powered entirely by generational turnover. Without new minds to push boundaries and tear down old ideas, society becomes a static museum, waiting for the doors to close. For centuries, we agonized over overpopulation and resource depletion. In the end, we die of zero population, a quiet, gradual fade. Our cities remain perfectly intact, massive concrete jungles left undisturbed, preserved by the lack of war, but entirely empty of their creators. The glowing server farms and automated grids continue to hum inside these abandoned facilities. These AI systems, once deployed as a frantic lifeline to support a shrinking society, now process data for a vanished population. Human society is built to be a bridge to tomorrow. Without a future generation to cross it, the human story doesn't end with a bang.